fantasy fans. As always, I'm Shay from the channel Zachary Shay, and today I want to ask the question of what happens when the choices we make affect those that come after us. What is the cost of legacy? Who is really suffering because of our choices? And these are the questions that, in my opinion, Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez ask in the amazing horror, mystery, coming of age, dark fantasy that is Locke and Key. This is easily one of my favorite comic books I've ever read. I have a dedicated review for each of these on my Goodreads that I'll link down below. And yeah, I think it's just an amazing book. No, you can't understand because you are reading the last chapter of something without having read the first chapter. Young people always think they're coming into a story at the beginning when they're usually coming in at the end. So in this book, we follow quite a few characters. Primarily, we follow the three children of the Locke family, Tyler, Kinsey, and Bode, shortly after their father, the patriarch of the Locke family, is murdered. And we see the three children as well as their uncle, their mother, struggling with this loss and how to carry on. They go to stay in the town of Lovecraft at a house called Key House. Over the course of the story, the youngest child in the family discovers these different keys with different magical abilities. Oh man, there's a sort of demonic character that is plaguing the Locke family. There's an actual serial killer that has an obsession with them. There's a lot going on in this book, but it all ties together remarkably well. I know I mentioned that youngest child always finding the keys, but it's really the two older children, Tyler and Kinsey, that are the primary focus of the book, in my opinion. They both have a great coming of age story. I definitely saw myself in both of them, though I will admit I was convinced going into this that Kinsey would be my favorite, just because Tyler, I've seen that before, the jock character that becomes more thoughtful as the story goes on. But man, Tyler absolutely took that archetype, and Tyler is the best character in this series, hands down. I don't think there's any competition. It really is Tyler's story, seeing him grow. And, at the beginning of this story, we find Tyler and his father, and they have a very tumultuous relationship. They're very much at odds with one another. And this sort of father-son dynamic is explored a lot throughout this book, even though the father dies at the very beginning of the issue. The very beginning of the story, issue 1, father dies. Not a spoiler. It's the onset of the story. The father dies, and the son, they were not in a great place when the father was killed. And we see the guilt of that eat away at Tyler. He's just juggling so much, and he's bearing so much on his shoulders. He really is the linchpin of his family. He's Atlas. He's holding up their world. He's supporting their mother. He's supporting Kinsey. He's supporting Bode. Does he have backup? Yeah, Kinsey's his backup. Kinsey helps him out, but she's got her own demons that, cause a lot of trouble for the rest of the family. The mom helps him out as well, but she's got a lot of demons. Tyler is the one that is really facing the brunt of all of this responsibility and trying to fix and put together a lot of the pieces that his father left fractured, and still try to be the man that he thinks his father would be proud of. And oh my gosh, this is such a phenomenal story about coming of age, about generational trauma and legacy, and overcoming a sort of, I don't want to say addiction, but a sort of failing that has plagued this family through generations, and each generation is trying to be better than the one that came before. And I do think, well, I'll let you decide if Tyler, Bode, and Kinsey can accomplish that, but I'm going to get into spoilers where I go through each issue and volume of this book and talk about what made it special, what I loved about each individual piece. So I'll be flipping through the book here. So I am going to give a big fat spoiler warning. I'm going to be going over what made, because a lot of issues have different, I don't want to call them gimmicks, but a different motif that makes them special. And I really want to dive into that and talk about Gabriel Rodriguez's brilliant art and some of the dialogue and exposition in here, and really get into what makes this story a 10 out of 10 comic book masterpiece for me. All right, so right here on the cover, we have Tyler, we have Kinsey with her wings, we have Bode with the shadow crown, and this is Tyler, after using the big key to enlarge himself. And then also under the dust cover, very beautiful art of the first member of the Locke family who formed the keys. I'm blanking on his name, and his sister. Yep, so we open it up, And yeah, in color, it looks beautiful. Beautiful colors by J Photos. We got all our volumes here. And a little forward. Book 1, Welcome to Lovecraft. So this is where the story all begins. And this was a marvelous entry into the world. We get, Welcome to Lovecraft. We have our 2 little serial killers entering the home. And this is the first echoes we see of Tyler dealing with this loss, looking at the urn of his father, regretting his last words to his father, how him and his father parted ways. We have a lot of people trying to comfort Tyler. It doesn't really seem like there's any consoling him, though his uncle comes close. And we get flashbacks, right here, his uncle. This is a relationship that I think is genuinely one of the best throughout the entire series. We see Bode, Kinsey, Tyler. I'm going to flip through a little bit faster here. But yeah, we see that the patriarch of the family has been killed. Sam, this is the killer. He's having visions of the girl in the well telling him to do it. And this is where we get Bode first using the ghost key. And funnily enough, in this next issue, he writes a comic at his school talking about how he turned into a ghost. And his mother thinks that this is a coping mechanism, that he is enacting fantasies to be closer to his father, unbeknownst to the entire Locke family, that he actually is turning into a ghost. And the lady in the well is talking to him. He's having visions of his father. Here we have again the girl in the well. And this is where we get the first glimpse that this is not human, that this is not this is an otherworldly terror. And this is something that, gets alluded to again and again and again and builds up this sort of mystery. And these scissors in this mirror is important because this otherworldly entity is able to give them to Sam, the serial killer that killed their father. We have Kinsey battling with her demon still. We have Sam battling with the security guard and winning. He gets away. Kinsey, this issue was really beautiful because we see Kinsey kind of struggle with not wanting to get close to any friends. You see it right here. She's very hesitant to get close to anyone else, and she just doesn't have a lot of control in her life, and she's scared of getting hurt again, of feeling powerless. And throughout the story, she grows from that. The mother struggling with her addiction. This is going to pop up again and again and again. And, Kinsey really wants to fit in after all the stuff that's happened to her family. She just wants to kind of, belong and not seem odd. So she's tamed her hair down, no more dreadlocks, and is trying to be as normal as she can. Coach reaches out to her, much like the other student. And then at the end of the issue, we see a little bit. Here's a first time, I believe, we see the lineup of the previous generation of kids at the Key House. And then, their father's friends group. There's the father right here. This character is very important. But at the end of the issue, we see her reach out and try to be friends with someone. And she's even got, her more radical hairstyle that feels more like her. Not a return to the dreadlocks, but, something that is her own personality. She's no longer just trying to fit in. Then we get an issue that it mainly centers on Bode and Tyler's relationship. We see a little bit of Sam and what his home life was like. We see Tyler ask Sam to kill his father. And at the time, he was just being a brat and talking about how much his father pissed him off, having no idea that the kid he was talking to was an actual psychopath. Sam believed people were watching him on the bus, so he kills them. We see him go further and further down this path of trying to get to the Locke family and figure out what's going on with the girl in the well. Speaking of the girl in the well, nefarious things with Bode. This is heartbreaking. Kinsey finally lets her guard down and she goes to check on her brother, and then boom, Sam completely brutalizes her. Very hard scene. Will have lasting implications on Kinsey as a character. All right, then we get the confrontation between Tyler and Sam. Yep, really good stuff. We get the girl in the well, a little bit more understanding of who she is. As this issue progresses, there's more conflict between them. And then after Sam is seemingly killed, the girl in the well, who is now the boy in the well, using the gender key, throws Sam in through the door that turns you into a ghost. He has more plans for them. We see the track teacher that tried to bond with Kinsey earlier, and she somehow has some connection to the boy in the well. And then at the end of volume 1, Welcome to Lovecraft, we see Bode find another key with the shape of a head on it. All right, now we get into head games, which of all 5 volumes, this was one of the only 2 that I ranked below 5 stars. I love this first issue of volume 2. It's mainly told from the point of view of this drama teacher. That was a flashback to his youth. His wife has recently passed away, but he recognizes this kid that he believes is Luke Caravaggio, who was a child that he had as a student many years ago. We get the first little hint at the play between all the kids that frequented Key House. He continues to think of his wife, misses her deeply. Not all is okay at home with our track teacher and Luke Caravaggio. Her son has special needs. Luke is very derogatory towards her. Oh, and Luke's going by the name of Zach. But, I mean, this isn't really Luke or Zach. It's a demonic presence in his body. And then kills the drama teacher. Very beautiful moment, though, of him rejoining his wife in his dream. And I liked that moment quite a bit. Oh man, I felt bad for her throughout this entire story. There's not a single issue with her in it where I don't feel terrible for her and her son. I hate seeing Zach get closer and closer to the Locke siblings. It's just so sad. You just want to grab them off the page and be like, don't! Speaking of wishing you could grab the characters and tell them something, gosh, I wish Tyler would just stay away from her. I know they try to make her redeemable in the final chapters, and I think she was to an extent. I definitely understand her character more, and I don't dislike her, but I definitely think Tyler deserves way better than her, as most fans will. We see the uncle bonding with the kids. Duncan is a great character throughout this entire series. Duncan recognizes Luke a little bit, which makes the demon in Luke's body have questions. Oh, this is where they finally get the head key. And there had been other stuff like the soul key that they'd seen used before, but this is their first time where they're like, oh wait, magic and the keys are real. Bode is not crazy. Love this splash page of all the different things in Bode's head, and they reuse this again and again and again. They have splash pages where you just look into someone's head. Later on in the book they do, oh, there we have the girl in the well, Luke. All right, then they have Tyler's head, not a splash page, but definitely the art's on full display. Love the paneling there. Oh, this is fun. Tyler fantasizing about her. We get to see hints of that drama group again. Oh man, this is heartbreaking. We see Duncan and his boyfriend out, and these 2 homophobic lesbians try to fight them. They even make a crack about like, hey, y'all don't seem too straight yourselves. And I enjoyed Duncan's boyfriend too. He was really funny. This is where the boy in the well, oh man, this has lasting ramifications right here. Kinsey takes out her anger and her sadness, and this is explored throughout the entirety of the rest of the book. The things we hate about ourselves, like our depression and our anger and our fear, these are things that are necessary. We need these to survive and to function as human beings. And when Kinsey takes them out, yes, she does things that she wouldn't have done otherwise, but she also makes a lot of mistakes because she's missing pieces of herself. In this one, we get a little bit of the story of what happened to the track teacher's mom. And Luke is trying to clear everyone's head, but when he goes to do it to the track teacher's son, there's no key. There's no key in his head. So that was interesting. We have the mom struggling with her alcoholism some more, leaning on Tyler. And this, we get the first hint that this is, well, not the first hint, but one of the biggest ones that this is not a human. Like there's something wrong here. And when you see him in his ghost form, you see this otherworldly alien type device on his soul. And Sam, for the first time, Sam starts to pity this creature. They battle for the body. Oh, moving forward, this is where Kinsey starts to make friends with Jamal, and I'm blanking on his name. What's his name? First time we see the size key. First time we see Luke with the crown. Using the shadows to try to get more keys from the kids. Oh, I love this issue. It is told almost entirely through splash pages of Tyler fighting this monster, defending his family. Not a lot of word bubbles, just him fighting. Yeah, loved the art. Really let Gabriel Rodriguez's art shine on that one. Here we have Tyler and Kinsey laying back, talking about things. Oh, the essay he gave her was an F. Oh man, this issue is very heartbreaking. Let me see. So here we have the mom struggling with the loss of her husband, and you see her breaking different things and putting them in this little cabinet that can fix anything. And this will be important later. But she grabs the urn, her husband's urn, and tries to put it in there, and, you know, some things, she gets all ready for him. Oh, gosh, so sad. So sad. Fights with her kids, and she's just very upset that she can't put her husband back in the cabinet and have him get fixed. Book 4, Keys of the Kingdom. This one I loved. Okay, so this issue has a lot of like Peanut style art style from Bode's point of view. In this, he transforms into a bird. Oh, you can see it. Love that Peanut style art. And then, you know, you get the Luke up to his old tricks. I want to get to the end of this volume. This is where they visit one of their dad's old friends. Oh, this one is really good. This is February. So this whole chapter is, you know, goes through the different days of the months, and we see the girl in the well pull a lot of tricks on the Locke kids. It's every weekend that Zach is away, actually, that they get these crazy... Oh, and we see not only Kinsey tearing her friends apart, because, like I said, she took those pieces out of herself, but we also see that Tyler did not put his trust in the right gal. You know, we've all been young once. The hat that she made him throw out because she said it was gross, he has to get back. This fishing lure is very important moving forward. We see Tyler coping poorly with that breakup. All right, I love this. I love what Gabriel Rodriguez was doing with this art. It reminds me a lot of DC's Sergeant Rock, or maybe even Nick Fury in the Howling Commandos. Sometimes he'll indulge in this like Silver Age, maybe even pre-Silver Age art style to get in the mind of the track. Oh, right here you can see it. To get into this character's mind, and yeah, I love it. This is where Tyler is starting to put the pieces together. Like, something is not right with his friend Zach, and this is where he finds it. He finds all the different pieces from Zach's head and realizes that his buddy is not a great guy. And this climax, to me, was a high point of this series at this point when I'd read it. Absolutely amazing stuff. I really, really, really loved it. I love the confrontation between Zach and Tyler. And oh man, this is heartbreaking right here. Oh yeah, he stabs her through, and then you see a glimpse of Luke in there, or it's just the demon playing a trick on her. I believe that it was a little bit of Luke shining through, a little bit of his soul, because he says later on in the story that it wasn't just the demon controlling his body, that it made all the bad things feel good. So I think this is some of old Luke. And of course, the demon wins out and, you know, mutilates the woman he used to love. Very sad stuff. And then he has Bode. So what happened here is the demon is trying to set Sam up by giving him his old body so he can be in Bode and just, you know, because everyone knows there's no way to put it back. The cops know, Tyler knows, it's a lost cause. So he tries to give Sam that body. Sam immediately takes him to throw him through the door to kill him. And Kinsey shows up and kills him, thinking she's killing Luke, but she's actually killing Sam. So I guess she's getting vengeance for her family. But, you know, if she would have stopped and listened, it would have saved them a lot of trouble, and a lot of people would have lived. And here we have Demonic Bode. So this is the beginning of Volume 5, which is the other volume that I gave less than a 5 stars. This is like a 4-star. We get a lot of history of the Locke family, why this door is there, and what the Omega Key does, and we learn that these other creatures have come into our world through this door, and pieces of their body or their alien symbiote-like body is what, oh, look at this goat, crazy, is what the keys are made out of. And we see the first member of the Locke family creating the keys. And at the end, we see that Kinsey and Tyler are watching all of this. We get a issue from the point of view of the different pieces that Kinsey took out of herself. I loved this one. The art style is so inventive. They even go into Tyler's head, and you see Tyler's thought processes and stuff. And then at the end of the issue, we see how they are viewing these different events. They're using this sort of time key, and they go back and view their dad's life. And this one really hurt because I thought at this time, I thought that Luke was kind of the asshole of this group, and we really find out that he's the sweetheart and that he just was unlucky enough to, be there at the wrong time. And he really was the best of them. The way he treats the way he treats Duncan is, oh man. Yeah, and you just see his soul kind of just destroyed from that demon. And you basically see, because of their father, look at this, their whole friend group kind of becomes fractured and torn apart, all because he wanted a key that would make them special forever. And yeah, it just goes to hell in a handbasket. And now we see his two children having to deal with the ramifications of his actions. Oh, and there's also a hint that this allure is a key, or made from the same material that can make keys. Then we have Bode. He's planning something on prom night. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to flash forward a little bit. Oh yeah, Tyler gets with that girl. Didn't love that. Oh man, this sucked. The demon inside Bode made their mom consume alcohol, and Kinsey says some really harsh words to her. I remember when that happened, I was like, I really hope Kinsey doesn't die, and that'll be the last thing the mom remembers them saying. The track teacher's son is trying to get to Lovecraft to save the day. Oh, this is a powerful moment. So we have Kinsey battling with the people down there, and then Tyler got shot, and his mom put him in the cabinet and allows him to speak to his father one last time. And yeah, this was one of my favorite moments of the entire story. Yep, things come to a head here. And this is the epilogue, the last door. This is probably my favorite issue of the whole series. We see with them dealing with the fallout of everything. And Tyler, we really see how much of a hero he is, because he comes back here to liberate Luke. We see him being selfless. We see him coming here not to try to find a way to get Bode back, to get his brother back, but to save this man who did terrible, awful things to him, because he knows that deep down, this man is not who has been hurting his family. It's this creature from another world. So he brings Luke Caravaggio back to free his soul, which inevitably kills him once more. But then we see him rewarded because his brother does come back, and we see the very last bit. He has another conversation with his dad, and his dad talks about how proud he is of him and how he turned out to be a much better man than him. And we see Tyler close the door, and that's the end of the story. And yeah, thanks guys. Peace.